Hello, everyone. We are live. We had some technical difficulties yesterday, but we are back and better today. So I am currently streaming here. I'm going to be streaming my screen. I'm going to put you guys on my stand. I'm on my phone right now doing Instagram, and I'm on my laptop streaming to YouTube, the screen recording. So this is what it looks like, my setup. This is my screen recording going straight to YouTube. I'm going to put you guys in this stand, and you're going to have a view of me while I model. So today we are doing an add house plan, advanced house plans. I'll link them in the description of this live stream. So you can go check out all of the images. But basically what Only the Facade series is I live model a building based upon I live model based upon a picture of a floor plan and renderings provided from the website. So you all voted on some amazing options, and we're going to get started today with the one you guys voted on. So I'm going to get you guys set up. All right. So I'm thinking that that is probably as good as we're going to get. I am going to shut the light off in this room and I'll be right back so we get a little bit better quality. Alrighty. All right. So this is the live stream for Instagram, and then we have a live stream of the screen recording on YouTube, Architecture Unbound at YouTube. I have to get it set up in my link still. We are live and ready to start modeling. All right. So we are going to be starting by taking an image and inserting it. So we're going to go to the Insert tab, and then we're going to go to Import Image, and my folder popped up on my other screen, which you guys can't see, but I'm going to open up the floor plans, and I'm going to place the first floor plan. So if you are new here and you haven't seen the images, this is the house we're going to be modeling together. We're going to be modeling only the facade, and this is the crazy facade with these crazy sloping roofs, and this is a side view. This is the floor plan. This is a nice little rain view. They have some cool triangle windows up there, some slopes. This is a cool house that almost plays a role on traditional and modern. So these are some of the images of the back of the house, and this is the second floor plan. So based on these images and the floor plan, I'll be modeling and seeing what we can create. This is a cool fireplace. Everyone who voted, thank you so much for participating. I love knowing like what you guys are interested in seeing modeled, and it was great for me to have you guys choose this. So I'm going to put this off to my side right now, and I am going to use this floor plan. So I'm moving my elevation markers right now outside of view. My view is cropped, so I'm just going to uncrop it with this check mark, and then I'm going to move these outside. Now, because this is just an image, I'm going to want to make sure that the image is scaled properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the floor plan and we're going to scale it. So we can see that we have a 10 by 10 space here. Okay, let's see if we can find something that we will know the door size probably. Advancedhouseplans.com. Yes, so this is where you can find the floor plan and all of the images. This is not my design, this is their design, and my challenge is to just model it in Revit based on the information provided. So if I look over to the right, it's because I have my big screen. I'm streaming live to Instagram and also to you all on YouTube. So if you see me looking all around, it's because I got a lot of things going on here. But we're going to scale this, and I think we're going to go by this door right here. I can't really tell if this is a 4-foot door or a 3-foot door. This is a bedroom and a mudroom and the door here. Let's just do a 3-foot entry door. So I just drew a design line, which is DL. And I'm going to draw that at 3 feet. So now I know I need to shrink this image to match that line, basically. And this is how I would do things if I were doing a precedent study when I was in school and university. This is how I would do all my precedent studies. We would get projects and we would have to replicate them oftentimes with just images from articles or whatever we could find on the web. So I'm just taking this blue little toggle and adjusting the size of the image. So it is just about at 3 feet now. I'm just going to make it a little smaller. I'm probably being really precise. We don't necessarily need to be super, super precise. This is just conceptual, of course, but that looks pretty good. So I'm going to delete the line. I'm going to pin, which is locking the element in place. So now I can't like accidentally drag it or move it around when I'm modeling. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start building all of the exterior walls. And I'm just going to do that with the wall tool, which is WA. That's what I used to activate the wall tool. And I'm going to draw with a standard 2x6 wood stud for now. And it's going to show up hatched in, which is what we want. So basically we have our wall here and we're just going to trace over the walls that they've given us. So what I'll do once I have this is we'll start looking at the picture again and we'll figure out how we can start changing the walls to show different materials, but I just want to lay all the walls down. Something that is important to note is they're just showing up white right now, right? So what we can do is we can go to our elevation view and see some of the levels that we have set up. So we'll just do 10 foot and we'll rename this to top of second floor. And I like to make sure that my levels are in place before we start getting too much into the walls because we want our walls to connect to the levels. So right now they're unconnected and they're at 3'6", which is why they're showing up white and not hatched in like they're set to. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to just rename them top of slab, top of second floor, and then I guess we can leave, we'll name roof peak top plate, which is basically where the bottom of the roof sits. And we'll do that for now. So we can go back to our first floor plan now that we have all of that set up wonderfully. We can continue on. I'm going to just hit tab, and that selects the chain of walls. Okay, and then we're going to change it to unconnected, and we're going to do second floor. And now we can see that we can actually see the layers, which is nice. We can see that the hatched portion is set to be the stud. If we were to go into edit type, came up on the wrong screen, but if we're going to edit type, this is the image. If I were to select the wall and hit edit type, you can see that we have the wood stud and then interior finish as a gyp. So that is what we have there. I keep peeking over to look at my Instagram live to see if anybody is interacting with the chat. Hello, Instagram. Hello, YouTube. This is like really intense for me, this whole double thing. I've never done it before, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. So that is how our wall is constructed. I just wanted to show you. And then the way that I have it so that it's pochade basically is I have it set up in the wood stud layer. So this is going to take us to our material browser, which we're going to work a little bit with so we can start to see like the stone exterior facade and then the regular siding exterior facade based on the image. So you can see right here that the cut pattern is set to solid fill. And so that's why it's showing up as hatched in. And that's just a graphics thing. Not everybody likes to draft that way. So that is why we're doing what we're doing. So we can continue to draw in our walls, and then we can duplicate the walls and assign different materials to them as we see fit. It's kind of jogging right here because this is a chimney I think I saw in the rendering, and the way this is being depicted is a way you would depict a chimney. So I am just selecting the wall. And I am doing CS, which is create similar to reactivate the wall command. And then we are going, this is a covered porch. This is in the back of the house. And we're just going all the way around. So we're only going to model the exterior facade because, again, this is only the facade challenge. So we are only modeling the facade. I have to connect these to the second floor. We might be connecting them higher up. We'll have to look at the drawing. We might just be connecting them to our roofs. So I'm just putting them on outside the black to make sure that it's as close as we can get it. So once I'm happy with how my walls are, we're going to look at the image of the renderings together. So I'm really excited about this series, the Only Facade series. It's new for me to stream on YouTube, but I think it's super beneficial because you guys can actually take the video from Instagram, get the notification, and then hop on live on YouTube and see the screen recording and see exactly what I'm clicking on, because I know it's not always easy. With an Instagram live, I am recording a picture of my big screen that's over to the side, so I was not sure how to get everyone a screen record version of it, and then I totally had this idea of just streaming to YouTube at the same time, and I think it's going to work out pretty good. I'm really excited. You guys can watch these later on YouTube, and you can practice modeling along with me, which is super exciting. So I've laid all the walls down. Now I'm going to look at the image. I'm going to bring it back up for us. And I'm just going to look at some of the materials that we're working with. So these are some terms that you might not be familiar with. I'm going to briefly explain them, but I really want to stay focused on modeling, so I'm going to not be going into too much depth. So this roof in the back here is a hip roof. It sort of has 4 sloping points and they all meet. This one is a gable roof, so it only has 2 sloping sides that meet. And then it has like this curve here, which is pretty smooth looking. And then this right here is called a shed roof because it's just one slope and it's shedding off the side. So I'm looking at this material. It almost looks like a stucco material. And then we have this one, which is like a stone or a brick, a white brick or white stone. I love it. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And they have all these little like masonry archways. So what we're going to do is I want to see a side of the house for this portion to see what's sort of happening here, why it's not colored in as a wall. It says courtyard, so I'm thinking that this is just like an arched opening, but I really want to see it from the side. Okay. So that's interesting. It looks like we have a side here, and this is like a little archway you could pass through to get to the courtyard. Even though the courtyard's open, I guess there's a bush there, so seems a little weird to have an archway there when you could just enter through, but it's fine. These are archways that you're passing under. So I think that is like the thickness of the archway when we're seeing this in plan. It's pretty thick there and there. And this is just open. So I'm just going to draw this as a boxed in element, basically. And then I'm also going to extend this wall back because these are also exterior walls. That is a glass stair tower, which is lovely. You can see that that is this element right here. We love a glass stair moment. Iconic, truly. I would love this if it was a house I was living in. I really love this style. All right. So what you're going to see me do a lot of the time is if I don't have a family loaded in, I'm going to do one of 2 things. I'm going to open up my family library, which is a bunch of families I've used over the 7-8 years I've been using Revit professionally and in school, which is a huge library of elements. And basically, then we're going to take anything we can't find and we're going to go on BIM object, we're going to go on Revit City, or we're going to go on for our windows and doors, a window and door manufacturing website. And that's what I like to do for my windows and doors and any objects that I don't already have as a part of my library. If you don't have them as part of your library, again, utilize those free websites I just mentioned, BIM Object and Revit City. I have a post on my Instagram page of some other good websites and free websites, and people have commented websites that they also like. So this is a covered porch, and I'm looking at the image here. It is a covered porch with open archways, but this is the exterior wall. So we're going to just continue over this area and connect this. So this will be open, and this is like this. It doesn't look like there's anything like connecting the two. I think that this line is maybe just the grass line that they have right here. Honestly, not entirely sure, but we're going to do that. So I'm going to go to a 3D model right now, and all we have is just the basic outline, the basic walls. So if we go to shaded or consistent colors is probably easier. Everything's just yellow because I have the wall set to be drywall on both sides, which is fine. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a stucco material. So we can see this side is stucco and this side is stone, stucco, stucco, stone. So we're going to create two wall types, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to edit the type, and I just want to rename it. I want to rename it wood stud gyp new, and we'll call it stone. Okay, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go back into my materials, and I showed you guys this earlier when we went into the solid fill area. So you might not have been able to see this before because it was on my other screen, but this is why the wood is showing up post-shade, because the cut is set to solid fill and then the color is selected. So you might have missed that before because it wasn't on the right screen. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to type in stone, and I know I have some stone patterns loaded in because this is my template that I'm used to using. So I'm just going to do masonry stone, and we'll see what this looks like. Just something so I can tell that they're different, okay? So I accidentally just changed the cut layer because I wanted to show you guys that again. So I'm just gonna close out of the wall, and I don't think it saved it. It did. So I'm just gonna undo that, and then go back into edit type, and it's back on wood stud layer. So again, that's the wood stud layer. That's how I get it to be hatched. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go to the exterior side, which is the materials at the top, in order, and I'm gonna pick that stone again. So I'm actually going to pick masonry brick instead of stone because this looks like masonry to me, the coursing of it, and it's white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to pick this like light gray color, and I'm going to get my Revit model to sort of match the same vibe. So we have this, and I'm going to do this. It's probably a bit more gray than it needs to be, but for right now, that's fine. And I'm just hitting the space bar when I select all of these. And what's that doing? It's flipping the wall around. So all these walls need to be flipped, which is fine. So this is the outside, this is the outside, the outside, the outside, the outside. So before I get too crazy flipping all these things, I also want to create a new wall type. I got to rename this again. We're going to name it brick. We're going to duplicate it. And what that does is it creates a literal duplicate, a copy of whatever thing you're working with. And I'm going to name this one stucco. And if this were a real project, I would be building the wall out to be whatever I need to make that a real wall. But because this is just a conceptual modeling like exercise, we're not going to focus on anything construction wise. I already threw out some terms like the roof terms, and I don't want to get too far into it. So basically, we have the masonry brick already selected from our wall duplicate, and we're going to go in and we're just going to pick, it basically looks like a white wall. Like it looks like it has a little bit of texture, but for Revit purposes, we're just going to pick a white. So once we've selected the white, that's pretty drastic, we have the white and the gray. So we can at least tell the difference now. I want to, just for like the purposes of this, to make it as close as possible, I'm going to lower that a little bit, the gray. You can adjust the colors like that as you please. Now we have stucco and brick. So we can start really figuring out which wall needs to be which material. So the last piece of material that we're going to need is this like black, almost looks like a metal panel with the ribbing, but we'll just do like black lap siding or horizontal siding is sort of what we call it. So I'm going to take that face that I already know is going to need to be black, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to call it black siding. So, and we're going to go in and we're going to do Again, the exterior side, and we're just going to pick black. Actually, we're not going to pick black. So my materials are obviously pre-made. There's A, and they're all been renamed. You guys can select materials that are either in your Revit project, or if you know how to make your own materials, you can make your own materials. But usually I just take whatever, you click a surface pattern. These are all usually in Revit. You can pick a color. Um, and it all just starts usually with me duplicating something that's already made and then just assigning those properties. Surface pattern and then color and cut pattern is how it shows up in plan or section when it's being cut. So that's a quick rundown on how to like create your own materials. But again, these are all mine, so I just have them ready to go so that this process is a little bit smoother for everybody involved, and we're not here all day learning everything there is to learn about Revit, because if you really want to learn everything there is about Revit, I have a course for that and I break everything down. But for today, this is a challenge and we're just modeling everything straight through. So I'm going to choose lap siding. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to pick black, and then I'm going to tone it down a little bit because I won't be able to see the lines if it's all the way black. And I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so we have the basic roughness here of our thing. So some details that I'm noticing right away, we have the stone arch, we have these arched garage doors, we have these archways with masonry around it. We have this courtyard. The house looks like it steps up. So if I go back to the floor plan, let's see. And I don't really look at these floor plans before. I just gathered the information, looked at it to make sure I had enough to be able to model it, and then I'm in this with you guys live. Like, I don't prepare, I don't download families, especially like we're gonna have to go download garage doors. I don't have garage doors that look like that. We're gonna have to get specialty windows together. So yeah, it looks like there's 2 steps in the plan to go up into the house. But then when I look here, I guess it's 2. This one, this third riser is like the surface. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our elevation and we're gonna create a ground level. I'm just gonna call it ground. And some people probably would have called it site. I just called it ground. And normal steps in America, which is where I'm from, are 7 inches, 7-inch risers. So if we have 3 risers, we know that 7 times 3 is 21 inches. So we're going to make this 21 inches, not 21 feet. So we have 3 steps to get into this house. And basically what this is going to do is give us a little extra space to build the stairs down. And it looks like wherever there is this stucco material, we have the ability to put a base or trim right there, which is exciting. There's a lot of little things here that we can model together. We might be able to even find light fixtures. We're going to go all out. So I'm excited and it's going to be fun. This planter, like, everything is so cute. I wonder what they render these in. I really do. I love Lumion, but I don't know. It's hard for me to tell what people render in. This might be Lumion. I love using this sidewalk pattern. I use this one all the time. So it could be a good indication of that. I'm going to go back to the Revit model, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my walls, highlight them all, and I'm going to put them down to the ground. Okay. And this house is 1 floor except for this volume right here, which we know because we have the second floor plan in the picture, is just this narrow space for a bedroom. So there's like a little dormer right there. All these things we'll probably figure out and deal with in the end. This is a nice little moody rain picture. All right. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to assign the walls. I'm going to move this off the screen so I can see it and do this at the same time, just for the purpose of a little bit of efficiency. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just look at the image. You won't be able to see it, and I'm going to swap the walls out as I go. So some of them just need to be flipped around. It's just a space bar, and some of them I'm dropping down and changing them. All of the walls in the back, except for we have one dormer. I'm just going to throw this picture back up. We have one dormer that's that black lap siding. So I am not going to do the dormers right now. That is something that we'll get to when we start adding the roofs and I start building the second floor. But right now we're just going to make sure that all of our materials that we have created are the right material based on the rendering and the location. So I know all of these in the back, and this is a 3D view. I'm just selecting everything. Know all of these are going to be stucco. So I just change them all to stucco. And then I go back to the front view. And it's appearing to me like everything in here is just going to be that white stucco. So again, I am just flipping them to make sure the right side is on the exterior, selecting them all. I am holding the control button to select multiple objects. And then I'm going to drop down and I'm going to change it to stucco. I'm going to change this to stucco. Another option we could do is MA, which is match properties. So you see how I'm just matching. So this one probably matched, but I had to flip it with a space bar. So now we know this is probably going to be stone. So I'm going to flip this and I'm going to do MA and I'm going to make this stone. Because we know we have that thick archway to go through from the rendering. If I go back to the floor plan, we can see that this wall is appearing to be pretty thick too. This side wall appears to be pretty thick, but I'm going to leave it for now. All right. So this is also stone, spacebar, spacebar. This whole opening, let's see, I'm just flipping between my pictures to see what the opening is, if I can get a dead-on view of it, of the inside of it. It looks like all inside here is going to be stucco. So basically this is going to be cut in half. We're going to split it because all these walls on the inside of this covered porch are stucco. So once you're on the inside, the stone transition. So I'm going to click on this wall where I know the divide needs to happen. I'm going to type in SL, which is split. And now we just cut the wall. And it's asking me to save the project. I haven't saved yet, so I'm just going to save, and it's already done saving. Great. So I accidentally just did that. So let me see. Let me pull the wall apart, and I'm going to change this and this and this again. I'm holding the control button when I am selecting multiple. I just changed them all to stucco, and now I'm going back to the floor plan, and I'm going to pull this wall back, and they're going to join. Great. Now we have these two walls and they're different materials. So I'm going to flip this and flip this. So we have some interesting things happening in the image. This is a fireplace, but it looks like this wall really goes like beyond everything from the image. Yep. And goes up to the roof. So I'm going to delete that and I'm going to have this join. It's a little weird. I think, I don't know why Revit won't let me do this, but I'm trying to get these walls to align a little bit better. Sometimes you just have to like mess with the way that they're all joining. For some reason, it's being weird. I'm gonna do HH and just hide that for a second so I can see if I can clean some of these things up. So I'm doing TR, and I trimmed those, excuse me. I was probably so loud in your ear, I'm so sorry. Keep clearing my throat. And then I just pulled this down. So this wall is behind, and basically it's gonna go all the way to the top of the roof. So this wall that we just extended out and over is this stucco wall, and then this is our brick fireplace, which is covered in this lovely ivory, but has this nice shape that we can try and recreate together. Um, but for now, we will just flip these out and make them that, and then I'll do MA, which is match, and make that stucco. So I'm going to flip this out, and that's fine. What we can do that with this little surface right here is we can actually take something and we can paint it. So I clicked on this little button right here, brings up all your materials, and then we can just paint it. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to paint that surface. And it's okay that it's masonry on the inside and stucco on the outside because again, this is only the facade. So we're only worried about the facade today. So stucco on this side, and then this side where it's turning the corner, we just painted the whole back for simplicity's purposes. So this is going to be stucco. So everything else is stucco, and then we have our black there. So we have all of our walls modeled. We have all of our walls connecting to our levels. So we have the ground level, we have our top of slab, which stairs will be going up into it. And then we'll have to play around with the heights of things, where some of the roofs land. We'll have to get into that. But now that everything is connected, basically I can move that up or down, and it goes with the line. So that's the beauty of having your level set up and having your walls, set to a top constraint and base constraint, because when you move that constraint, which are these level markers, essentially, they will move with them. So I'm just going to undo that, which Control Z. But that is the gist of the first portion of only the facade. So we have our level set, we have our first floor walls laid and created with all the right material, and we are ready to do probably the roofs next. That's probably what I would do next. I think what I'll do is lay out the second floor and just see where some of those things are in terms of the dormers in the back that we can't see. But then we'll start doing the roofs. And then once we have the roofs done, we'll start doing the windows and the doors and some of the openings. All right. So that was today's episode of Only the Facade. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you were able to follow along and that this was super helpful and informative for you. And I'm so excited to pick this back up next week. This will be every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be live streaming at Architecture Unbound, Architecture underscore Unbound on Instagram and YouTube. So this is where I'll be. We'll be picking up right where we left off with this house, and until we finish it week after week, then we'll pick and the community will vote on a new house, and we'll just do this from now until the end of time together. um, yeah, this was the first episode. It was great. I hope to see everyone's progress shots of the first week in their episode and their materials on Instagram. So tag me if you have your base set up, if you're at where I'm at for this week. Tag me, say episode 1, I'm done, woohoo, ready for episode 2, ready to keep going, ready to keep modeling. I'd love to see your work, your progress. I'm going to save and I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for joining me again. I appreciate everyone for joining me. And if you're watching the replay, please comment below. Let me know what you learned. If you learned anything new, if you learned anything you're going to take away and go use in your everyday now, whether you're a student or you're in practice, I'd love to hear it. And again, tag me, or I'm not sure if you can comment pictures on YouTube, but if you can, drop your picture of your little modeling from episode 1 below. And then we'll meet again next week and we'll keep going and we'll start doing the roofs and some openings and maybe get into windows and doors. I'm going to be doing it for about 30-45 minutes each week and we'll see what we can get done. So I will see you next week and I hope you have an amazing time. Until then.